What'd you learn about leadership as this played out from the time you got on the plane to where you are today?
In a situation like this, the need to move quickly and the need to direct requires a residual trust among your team. And that, you know, there's much talk about leaders in a crisis and individuals who step up and lead in a terrible crisis. And, you know, many have been successful because of their ability to garner and allocate resources more effectively than anyone else. But to me, what I learned from this was the fact that, you know, I operated much like I operate in normal non-crisis times, which is you create an open forum for people to express opinions, you respect those opinions, and you try and make a decision without the intent to disregard people's feelings. And that creates a culture of trust. And I think that we reacted as a team quickly because we trusted one another. I think if you have an adversarial management culture, I think you will initially make progress because somebody's got to be in charge. But I think the sense of accomplishment and goodwill, and therefore the ability to sustain it for weeks and weeks and weeks, is far more difficult. We had, for the first 3 weeks, daily calls. Everyone was exhausted. Everyone was exhausted. I mean, it is very tiring to manage this level. If you don't have the right culture among your team, that stress can become destructive. What I learned is that, honestly, having that initial solid leadership team that's based on a level of trust and respect means that you can move quickly without a lot of second guessing, without a lot of wasted time, and without a lot of emotion that's really very value add. And especially as I've heard over the last couple of weeks on some of our other multinationals and how they reacted, a lot of them struggled. And what I found from some of the struggles, some themes, one, they didn't trust their local management, right? And so day in and day out, you get workarounds, but in a crisis, suddenly they're saying, okay, we're going to do it, and the local management is like, well, you guys don't speak Japanese. Exactly what are you going to do? And there was lost time, and there was an animosity that came out of it. They didn't trust their local team. The other area that I think where I saw they simply weren't prepared. I mean, they had absolutely no rule book out there. And the one thing I learned is, okay, crisis management is rather unique, but we had a well enough defined that everyone knew which book to pull off of the shelf to operate to. All of those things are basic, and it's got nothing to do with detailed analysis of strategy and financial, etc. It's around the basics of business that hasn't changed in decades.
Get people to respect them enough so they speak their minds. Create a culture of trust. You may not need the heroic leaders.
Absolutely.
Great.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Scott.
Thank you, Ed. It was a pleasure.